everyone, my name is Ellen and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to play Wonderwall by Oasis on the guitar. So stay tuned if this is something that you'd like to learn. Alright guys, so let's just quickly go over the overview. This is going to be a beginner-friendly song to learn, but first of all, make sure your guitar is in standard tuning, and I have my capo on the 2nd fret. That's going to put you in the original key as the original song. You can follow this tutorial through without a capo, it just will be a whole step lower, so you'll have to sing your cover a little bit lower. In addition to that, you will need to know 6 chords to play this song, and all of them are open chord shapes, so it's really great for beginners. And I am going to be showing you 4 different strumming patterns as well, but don't let that freak you out. They are pretty straightforward and intuitive, and you can like kind of mix and match them, and I'll explain all of that in the strumming section. So let's go ahead and start off with our chords. Alright guys, so I've zoomed in a little bit to take a closer look at these chords. Like I said, there are 6 shapes that you're going to need to know for this song, and we're going to start with our E minor 7, which looks like this and sounds like this. From there, we need to know our G chord, which looks like this and sounds like this. After that, we have our D suspended 4, which looks like this and sounds like this. Next, we have our A7 suspended 4 chord, which looks like this and sounds like this. After that, we have our C add 9 chord, which looks like this and sounds like this. And the last chord shape you need to know is our D over F sharp, which looks like this and sounds like this. And those are the only 6 chords you need to know to play through the song. So I did want to point out something about these chords really quickly. If you'll notice, in all of our chord shapes, we're never going to move our pinky or our ring finger. They're always going to be in the same spot for all 6 chords. And you can look at this either as a good thing or a bad thing. I like to look at it as a good thing because if you're a beginner, you don't have to move those 2 fingers, which makes chord transitioning a lot easier because you just have to focus on your pointer and your middle finger. But if you look at it as a bad thing, it can get a little bit painful after a while if you're playing through the whole song. So just make sure that you're building up those calluses, and if this is something that you need help with, make sure to check out my video right here about how to fix your finger pain. But with that being said, go ahead and pause the video and take a few moments to practice those chord transitions and just make sure that you can get through them pretty smoothly back and forth. This song does move a little bit quickly with those transitions, so just make sure that you have them under your belt. If that's something you need help with, I do have a video right here about chord transitioning and how to get better at those. So check that out, but with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the strumming patterns that I like to use for this song. So if you're familiar with any of my other tutorials, I do like to start out with a practice pattern, which is just one simple down strum on the beat for every chord change. I always suggest beginners start out like this, or if you're not really familiar with the song, to start out with this practice pattern because it does really help you like orient yourself like within the song where those chord transitions are going to be and things like that. So let's go ahead and put an example here on screen. All you need to do is play through each of these chords with one simple down strum. So we're starting with our E minor 7 to our G, D sus 4, A7 sus 4. And after you can kind of just go through the song like that, you want to practice singing with it to know where, like which words you're going to be singing when you're switching those chords. So let's go ahead and go through the first verse together and just go through an example. 1, 2, 3, 4. Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now, you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. Alright? So again, just take a moment to go through the whole song and like really highlight where those words are, where you're going to be switching those chords. It's really going to help you out a ton whenever we kind of amp up our strumming patterns. So let's go ahead and jump into our first real strumming pattern. Alright guys, so the first strumming pattern I want to show you is strumming pattern 1, and as you can see, it's down, 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 up, and it's going to sound a little something like this. So now that you've heard the rhythm, let's go ahead and put a chord shape to that and just kind of hear how that sounds. So let's put our E minor 7 chords on, and this strumming pattern is just going to be a simple down, 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 up. Alright, that's the whole thing. One more time. Down, 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 up. Awesome. So now that you have the feeling of that strumming pattern under your belt, let's go ahead and put it in rhythm. And I'm going to speed it up a little bit as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. So you may have noticed while I was announcing that pattern with you, we were kind of emphasizing that third down strum. This is going to be really helpful when you put all of these strumming patterns together, just to kind of keep that beat going. But basically all I'm doing there is I'm just kind of strumming that one down a little bit harder with a little bit more force than the other down strum. So we have down, 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 up, down, 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 up. So you can see here with my strumming hand, I'm just getting a little bit more of a bigger motion there. So anytime you see an underlined arrow here, it's because I'm going to be emphasizing that, okay? So we've got down, 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 up, down, 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 up. Now if you wanted to, you could use this pattern to play through the whole song. So let's go ahead and just go through an example of what that would sound like. I have some chord progressions listed here on screen, and all you want to do is play through this pattern one time through for each of these chords. So starting on our E minor 7, 1, 2, ready, go. Down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. E minor 7, G, D suspended, A7, you got it. Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. Awesome. So even though you could use strumming pattern 1 to play through the entire song, I would recommend switching back and forth between strumming pattern 1 and strumming pattern 2, which as you can see is down, up, down, 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 up, and it's going to sound a little something like this. Alright, now that you've heard the rhythm, let's go ahead and put our E minor 7 chord down and just play through it. We've got down, up, down, 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 up. Alright, and that's the whole pattern. Down, up, down, 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 up. Nice. Alright, so now that you have that strumming motion down, all we have to do now is speed it up a little bit. So I'm going to count us off and we want to do this together. 1, 2, ready, go. Down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. And again, as with strumming pattern 1, you could use this pattern to play through the whole song if you wanted to. So let's go ahead and go through an example of what that would sound like. I've got the chord progressions listed here on screen, and again, you're just going to play through this pattern one time through for each of these chords. 1, 2, ready, go. Down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. E minor 7, G, D suspended, A7. Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. Alright, so now that you guys have practiced strumming pattern 1 and strumming pattern 2, the kind of like secret sauce to playing this song is to go back and forth between these two strumming patterns. It creates a really full kind of rhythm on the guitar and sounds a lot like the original. So let me just go through an example of what that would sound like. I have the chord progressions listed on screen here again, E minor 7 to G to D suspended to A7 suspended. So again, what we're going to do is go through strumming pattern 1 on the first chord, then go to strumming pattern 2 for the second, back to strumming pattern 1 for the third, back to strumming pattern 2 for the second. Okay, so on our E minor 7, we've got down, 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 up to our G chord, strumming pattern 2, down, up, down, 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 up to D suspended 4, strumming pattern 1, down, 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 up to A7 sus 4, strumming pattern 2, down, up, down, 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 up. All right, so if you can, I would recommend kind of going back and forth between those two strumming patterns to kind of fill in some of this like space and just make the rhythm guitar part sound a lot cooler. So a little bit faster and strung together, that sounds like this. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up. Nice. So if you can do that and go back and forth between those two strumming patterns, I would recommend doing that for the entirety of the song. It sounds really close to the original, but it's kind of an easy, like broken down way of doing it. But of course, I did mention at the beginning that I have more strumming patterns to show you, and that is because these last two patterns are kind of like extra frilly kind of patterns that you can put into your cover if you want to. So let's go ahead and dive into strumming pattern 3. All right, so as you can see, our third strumming pattern is down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. And it's gonna sound a little something like this. All right, and as straightforward as that kind of sounds, that is exactly how easy it is. We're just gonna be kind of doing a back and forth down up strumming pattern. And this is kind of like a throw in whenever you want to kind of a strumming pattern that I like to use in my cover to kind of build up to the next phrase or the next chord or the next part of the song, like a verse to a chorus or something like that. So basically what I will do is I will go back and forth between strumming pattern 1 and 2 like I did earlier. So we've got E minor 7, G, to D suspended. But here on this A7, something cool you can do to kind of fill in that space is just kind of like pump the down up motion. So on A7, I've got down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. All right? So you're basically just strumming that whole thing. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, I would not recommend using this pattern for the entire song. It's just gonna make the guitar part sound really messy. But if you throw it in strategically into parts of the song, it can really build up the feel of the entire song as a whole. So again, let me just show you where I would put that in. So I've got my chord progressions listed on screen. We're gonna do a strumming pattern 1 for E minor 7 and D suspended, strumming pattern 2 for G, and then we're gonna throw in this third strumming pattern for the A7, and you'll see how that all comes together and kind of builds up the rhythm of the guitar. So on E minor 7, we've got down, 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 up to G, down, up, down, 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 up to D suspended, down, 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 up to A7 suspended 4, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So it sounds a lot better if you don't stop between each chord. So let me just show you that one more time. All right, so hopefully you could hear how that kind of down up droning pattern really like builds up. So I would suggest kind of throwing that in there throughout your cover wherever you're going from like one phrase to the next phrase, one part of the song like a verse to the next part like a chorus, something like that. So if you want an example of what I would do, I have it in my playthrough here. But the other last pattern that I wanted to show you is kind of another optional pattern in a way. So for strumming pattern 4, we have down, down, up, down, down, up, and it's gonna sound a little something like this. And again, as you can see, I have some of these down strums underlined, which again means we're gonna just kind of emphasize those beats a little bit by doing a little bit more forceful of a strum. So let's go ahead and just practice this on our E minor 7 chord. We've got down, down, up, down, down, up. All right, one more time. Down, down, up, down, down, up. Now, the reason I have this pattern in here is because there are places where you're going to be switching your chords a little bit faster than the rest of them. So for most of this song, you are going to be able to stay on a whole pattern through one whole little round on each chord, but there are places where it's going to go a little bit faster. So for example, in the bridge, there's a part that goes, "There are many things that I would like to say to you, but I don't know how." And on like to say to you, we're gonna go from G to D over F sharp to E minor 7 pretty quickly. So let me just show you there. C add 9, there are many things that I would G to D over F sharp to E minor 7. So you can see there it's going twice as fast, and that's exactly where I would use strumming pattern 4. So strumming pattern 4, I'm going to put like a little vertical line in between these little sections. So we've got down, down, up on one side, down, down, up on the other side, and I'm putting that there because we're going to utilize this strumming pattern for any time in the song where your chord transitions are going a little bit faster. So in that example, I've got my C add 9 chord on. You could do any strumming pattern. I'll just do strumming pattern 1. Down, 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 up, D suspended, down, up, down, 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 up. And then from here, G to D over F sharp to E minor 7, we're going to do strumming pattern 4. G is down, down, up, switch to D over F sharp, down, down, up, back to E minor 7, and back to your regular strumming pattern. Down, up, down, down, down. All right? So let me just do that without stopping. It'll make a lot more sense. There are many things that So again on G to D over F sharp, and I think that's exclusively where I use that in this song, but you're always going to want to make those transitions go a little bit faster. So we've got G, down, down, up to D over F sharp, down, down, up to E minor 7, and back to your other regular strumming patterns. Alright guys, so before I kind of conclude this little strumming portion, let's just kind of do a quick recap because I know that was a lot of information. So our practice pattern is a single down strum. I would just recommend doing that for when you're getting used to the song and just doing a single down for those transitions. After that, if you're doing a cover of the song, I would recommend going back and forth between strumming pattern 1 and strumming pattern 2. If you do that for your whole cover, it should sound really close to the original, but strumming pattern 3 can be thrown in whenever you want to kind of build a little bit of that that momentum, that tension, like going into parts of the song. It's really fun to kind of throw in there whenever you see fit. And then strumming pattern 4 is just going to be used for those chord transitions that are going a little bit faster than the rest of them. So I hope all of that makes sense. If you do want my recommendation on how to put all of these strummings together, I would recommend playing with my fast track tutorial right here where I have all of that listed, or you can check out my Patreon page to download the printable guitar guide where I have everything listed there as well. Alright guys, now that you've had those chords memorized and you practice those transitions and we kind of talked about all the different strummings that you can put into your cover, it's your turn to have a little bit of fun. So make sure to join me right here for my fast track play along version of this song where I have everything listed on screen, including the chords and lyrics and everything else you need to know for how I would suggest playing this song. I will put it in the little iCard link right here, so make sure to click on that to join me for that. Or if that's a little bit too fast for you or too confusing or anything like that, again, you can always visit my Patreon page, which I will link down below, and there you can download a printable guide with everything that I've just said in this tutorial written out if you're more of a visual learner, as well as the chords and lyrics and all of the progressions and everything like that. On my Patreon page, I also have a really cool backing track where you can kind of customize your practice session by slowing things down, speeding things up. You can turn things on and off and louder and quieter, how you see fit. So, you know, metronome, vocals, drums, everything is very customizable to how you want to practice. So I would suggest checking that out in my Patreon page, which is again linked down below. But yeah, that concludes my video today. I really hope that you guys found this helpful. If you did, make sure to give me a thumbs up down below, as well as subscribe to my channel. That way you never miss out on any other new tutorials. Here are my social media sites in case you'd like to follow me on any of those. That's just where I do fun things like behind the scenes looks at things coming up. I'll poll you guys on what you want to see next, and I'll even do giveaways on there a few times a year, so make sure to follow me on my socials. But yeah, that does conclude the video, so thank you so much for watching. I hope it helped, and I will see you next time. Bye!